Former maillot jaune, a double world champion, and now the winner of stage 12 of the Giro d'Italia. A race of skill, brains, brawn, panache, style, you name it, Alaphilippe has got it. The complete package on display today. Alaphilippe in victory. Woohoo!
One of the flattest days in recent Giro history. Barely a bump along the way, 179 kilometres from Riccione on the Adriatic coast to Cento in Emilia-Romagna. Everybody in good spirits, including Davide Ballerini and yesterday's winner Julian Alaphilippe and Jonathan Milan, looking for win number 3 at the 2024 Giro. The flag dropped and a breakaway of 3 riders got away immediately, including 2 from VF Group Bardiani, Alessandro Tonelli and Manuele Torozzi. They were joined by Andrea Pietrabon. They went through the first of the bonus sprints at Villanova, and Pietrabon added more points to his intermediate sprints tally to assume control of that minor classification. And then it was Torozzi who took the Intergiro of the day, the local rider from Emilia-Romagna. They went past Imola, preparing to host the Grand Prix at the weekend. And as they edged towards the final sprint of the day at Consolice, just a sense that the wind was getting up on the long straight roads to Cento. Pietrabon went through the final sprint of the day on his own, and then the Ineos Grenadiers started to ride on the front, and they instantly split the peloton. The Maglia Ciclamino, Jonathan Milan, the wrong side of a split with his Little Trek teammates. Movistar too were riding to protect the GC interests of Aina Rubio, and a few teams got together. Eventually, after the 3 riders at the front of the race was caught, they knitted it back together again. But it was a long, hot ride for Lidl Trek and Movistar to finally close the gap to the front of the race. Right at the back of the race, Domenico Pozzovivo was caught out in a 3rd group on the road, but eventually Jonathan Milan and Lidl Trek got it back. As the racing stalled again with 30 kilometres to go, there was a second attack, this time again from VF Group Bardiani. Martin Marcellusi was joined by Dries de Potter, the young Belgian from Intermarché. A crash at the back delayed a few riders and dumped a few on the ground as well, and that split the peloton once again. Marcellusi could do no more with 15 kilometres to go, and de Potter went solo and held on just about to within the final 10 kilometres, where he too was caught as the group came back together again on the run-in to the bunch sprint in Cento. All the main protagonists were closely packed and placed towards the front as they entered the final run-in.
Here comes Ed Turns, Simone Consoni lining themselves up for the finish. This is Lidl Trek's to lose. The man in the Maglia Ciclamino has all the other sprinters on his wheel, waiting patiently. Fernando Gaviria, as he often does, tries to go long. Gaviria hitting the front, forcing Milan to react.
Oliveira on the wheel of Milan. Milan goes. Milan in the centre.
Annie Lakowski on his wheel, but here comes Jonathan Milan pushing for the line. Milan is going to make it win number 3 at the Giro d'Italia, and the rest of them were not even close in the end. A masterful display from Jonathan Milan.
Jonathan Milan picked up win number 6 in 2024 and a career 4th victory at the Giro. No change in the top 10 in the general classification, despite the efforts of the Ineos Grenadiers to split the pack. The top 10, as you were: Jonathan Milan in the Maglia Ciclamino extended his lead to 110 over Caden Groves. No King of the Mountains points on offer on stage 13 meant that there was no change in the top 10 of the KOM competition. And Antonio Tiberi has exactly the same lead over Filippo Zana and Tumen Ahrensman as he did going into the stage.